Hello everyone and welcome back to the Perfect French with Dylane. Today we are going to learn everything about quelle and lequel. This video has chapters if you want to learn one or the other, but I really appreciate if you watch the whole video too. So on the book we are going from page 153 to 157. And just like every day you can join me on Instagram for a little quiz. So let's start right away with quelle. Quelle can have 4 different forms. We have the masculine singular, which is going to be quelle, Q-U-E-L. We have the feminine singular, which is going to be quelle, Q-U-E-L-L-E. Masculine plural, which is going to be quelle, Q-U-E-L-S. And then we have the feminine plural, which is going to be quelle, Q-U-E-L-L-E-S. This is why pronunciation and know how words are built in French is very important. Spelling and pronunciation is everything in French, so make sure to know how to spell and how to read French. This is very important. So all of them mean what, which. As you can see, they change in gender and number with the noun that they describe. Quelle is almost always followed by a noun, but it can also be followed by a verb. We are going to see both. So when quelle is followed by a noun. When it's followed by a noun, the inversion and the use of est que is allowed. Are allowed, I guess. So if you look at the sentence, what dish did you order? We have quel plat as-tu commandé? So quel plat is the noun. As-tu commandé? Quel plat as-tu commandé? Or, quel plat est-ce que tu as commandé? Quel plat est-ce que tu as commandé? But just like all the other type of question that we saw, there is a non-formal way to ask the question. And here, it's going to be this way. Tu as commandé quel plat? Tu as commandé quel plat? Even here, so usually I told you that usually they are at the end of the sentence, but even of the question, but even here, the noun is still after it. Tu as commandé quel plat? Okay? When quel is followed by a verb, you have the same thing in English already, it's not really hard. It's a lot of explanation, but you do have the same in English. If we look at what is your favorite movie, what is your favorite movie? So is the verb, obviously. Quel est ton film préféré? Quel est ton film préféré? Now, quel with prepositions. So, do you remember we saw that yesterday that we can have an interrogative with a preposition, depending on the verb. So here if we look at de quel, and if we look at the verb venir de, to come from. So if you want to know from what city I'm from, you can ask the question, de quelle ville viens-tu? De quelle ville viens-tu? Or, de quelle ville est-ce que tu viens? De quelle ville est-ce que tu viens? Same thing for quelle that we saw at the beginning for informal question. Tu viens de quelle ville? Tu viens de quelle ville? Because venir de, so de quelle plus the noun, which is ville. Tu viens de quelle ville? It's not that hard, is it? Another point that you have the exact same in English, we have when quelle is followed right away by a noun, and that's it, that's the question. And it's just a way to repeat yourself to ask for more information. So if you ask, what do you think of my idea? And in English you will answer, what idea? So, qu'est-ce que tu penses de mon idée? Qu'est-ce que tu penses de mon idée? Quelle idée? Quelle idée? Okay? Exactly the same way. The only thing that you have to remember are 2 things, the prepositions and the fact that quelle can change, can become, I was going to say quelle, but same thing. Where you can just change into feminine or plural, etc. That's all you need to remember. To test yourself, you can do the exercise 2.37. Now we have lequel. Lequel is very similar to quelle. It will also change depending if it's masculine singular, feminine singular, masculine plural, feminine plural. and it translates to which one. Which one, that's it, that's all it is, which one. So if Zach say, j'ai envie d'acheter ce pull. J'ai envie d'acheter ce pull. I want to buy this sweater. But you're not really looking, so you will say, oh, lequel, lequel, which one, lequel. Lequel is simply the contraction of le pull, which is le, plus quel, lequel. That's all it is. Let's see all the different type of lequel. We have lequel for masculine singular. We have laquelle for feminine singular. Then we have lequel for masculine plural, and then lequel for feminine plural. So lequel, laquelle, lequel, lequelle. It will also change if there is a preposition, such as a and de. So remember that a becomes o when masculine singular, so we have auquel. And then we have à laquelle, auquel, and auquel. Then we have de plus lequel, which is duquel, de laquelle, desquels, desquelles. So it's all about the preposition with the verb. However, I usually advise to only know about lequel, laquelle, lesquels, lesquelles, because that's the one you're going to use the most. The other one, you will see them, you will hear them sometimes, but recognize them but don't focus too much on them. Personally, that's what I advise. You can focus on them if you want to, but that's always what I said, to mostly focus on lequel, laquelle, lesquels, lesquelles. Okay? So let's see. Which one of these paintings do you prefer? Laquelle de ces peintures est-ce que tu préfères? Laquelle de ces peintures est-ce que tu préfères? Which one do you want? Lequel est-ce que tu veux? Lequel est-ce que tu veux? Which ones of these flowers do you want? Lesquelles de ces fleurs veux-tu? Lesquelles de ces fleurs veux-tu? You can try the exercise 2.38 to make sure that you understood everything. We have two very quick points now. We have the tag questions, and then we have how to answer a negative question. Going to be fast, there's nothing complicated about it. So in French, we don't have the aren't you, isn't she, etc. at the end of the question. So if you want to say, for example, she's your sister, isn't she? We don't have the isn't she. We don't have that. So instead of that, we use tag question. We can say, for example, n'est-ce pas? N'est-ce pas? It's just a way to repeat yourself to make sure that the other person heard you. So if you want to say, he arrived safely, didn't he? You can say, il est bien arrivé, n'est-ce pas? Il est bien arrivé, n'est-ce pas? So it doesn't change in gender and number. This is your sister, isn't she? C'est ta sœur, n'est-ce pas? C'est ta sœur, n'est-ce pas? N'est-ce pas is quite formal. You will find it in books, like speeches and things like that. Usually, with a more poetic way to speak, we are going to say un or non. The un is definitely my favorite. My husband said that we sound like ducks because we use that a lot. So we have il est bien arrivé un, il est bien arrivé un, instead of n'est-ce pas, or c'est ta sœur, non? C'est ta sœur, non? That's it. That's how we say it in just spoken French. We can also use ok, d'accord and non. But let's focus on ok, d'accord. On part bientôt, ok? On part bientôt, ok? Or, tu vas te coucher dans 5 minutes, d'accord? Tu vas te coucher dans 5 minutes, d'accord? And finally, the non. Son anniversaire est en décembre, non? Son anniversaire est en décembre, non? That's for the isn't it? Non? Or, il a réussi, non? Il a réussi, non? I know it sounds quite funny for English speaker and probably other speakers as well, but that's how we do it. This is still something that I say a lot in English. I end my question with non or okay. I do that a lot, no and okay. Sometimes I think that really stick a lot. The last little tag word that we have is si. For negative questions. Ils ne sont pas mariés, si. Ils ne sont pas mariés, si. Aren't they? Si. So this does not mean if, it technically means yes. Which brings us to the next point, how to answer a negative question. So to answer a negative question, we are not going to use we are going to use si. So basically, when you get asked a negative question in French, you use si to reverse the question into a positive statement. Let's see. Ils ne sont pas mariés. Ils ne sont pas mariés. The person here guess that they are not married, but they actually are. So we answer si ils sont mariés depuis quelques années. Si ils sont mariés depuis quelques années. Another one. Tu n'as pas raté ton avion? Tu n'as pas raté ton avion? Si j'ai dû attendre le prochain vol. Si j'ai dû attendre le prochain vol. So that's how you answer a negative question with si, which does not mean if. In this case, means yes. When you feel comfortable, you can do the exercise 2.39. And then you can do the review of the question and negation and everything with the exercise 2.40. And tomorrow we are going to start the chapter on adjectives. I know you have been waiting for this one. We're going to see everything about it. So I will see you tomorrow. À demain.